Hi, I'm Alyssa Lupie and welcome to Not Just for Kids. Hey, remember when I started this series and I made an intro video about how I made this because of books? And then I talked about a TV series and 2 movies? Yeah, me too. I honestly didn't plan it that way, I'm literally picking names out of a hat here. For the first half of this episode, I'll try not to spoil anything that isn't stated plainly in the blurb, and maybe some characters that show up very early on. I'm talking first couple of pages. And the second half will get into more spoiler heavy stuff. But don't worry, I'll give you a fair warning, so if you're interested you can pick up the book for yourself before watching the rest of the video. Okay, so Midnight for Charlie Bone by Jenny Nimmo. I picked up this book when I was quite young, maybe about the time the 4th book came out because that's the first one I've got in hardback. So I would have been, 12, 11 maybe? Anyway, I remember loving this book when I was younger, and going back to it now, I still love it. Midnight for Charlie Bone is the first book in the Children of the Red King series and stars the titular character Charlie Bone. Now, if I say young boy aged 11 discovers he has magical powers and gets sent to a special school, what do you think of? Yes, I can practically hear the cries of Harry Potter ripoff from here. And if you're looking at this book very superficially, then that would be true. And I honestly don't think that's a coincidence. But trust me when I say that once you start reading, you can see that the two are completely different. Charlie doesn't have a plethora of powers, he just has one, the ability to hear people talking in photographs, specifically what they were saying when the photo was taken. And he's not going to a school full of gifted children. Well, he is, but it's for kids that are gifted in the arts, like drama, music, and actual art, rather than magically gifted kids. There are relatively very few of the magical children there, but because the families want to keep an eye on them, they send them to the school whether they're good at the things the school teaches or not. I actually find it hilarious that Charlie is actually kind of hopeless at music despite being placed in that department. Charlie Bone lives with his mum, his great uncle, and his 2 grandmothers. His dad isn't in the picture. I just realised that was a pun because of what Charlie can do. I'm so sorry, that honestly wasn't intentional. Charlie's maternal grandmother Maisie is kind, a great cook, but is also kind of at a loss when it comes to all the magic stuff because it comes from the other side of the family. His mum is the same, kind-hearted and loving, but is a bit more on edge as events unfold around her son because of what happened to Charlie's dad. To get too far into it would be kind of spoilery, so I'll just say that she's more keyed into the special gifts that her husband's family possesses than her mother. The grandmother on Charlie's dad's side is the worst, just the worst. She's a nasty piece of work, and she and her sisters are some of our main antagonists in the story. I've left Peyton, Charlie's great uncle, until last because he's my second favourite character in the entire series. I'll get to my favourite in the second half of the review. The way his character develops throughout the book is just brilliant. We don't even see him until later on in the book, although he's mentioned and talked about very early on because he doesn't come out of his room during the day. And by the end of the book, well, he's my second favourite character. I'll talk about him more later. See if you can guess what his power is before then. You'll never get it if you haven't read the book or have totally cheated and looked it up. Oh man, I've just realised I can't make my usual joke about animation. What else can I talk about? Writing style? Yeah, let's go with writing style. Okay, so I found these books a bit harder to get into now that I'm older because the writing style is childish, for lack of a better word. One thing I dislike about the book is that Charlie tends to gain information from people really awkwardly. There was this one scene that stuck out to me in particular when he was talking to this woman in a bookshop and she just casually tells him about something horrific that happened in her past. And I was like, geez, lady, do you blurt that out to every 11-year-old kid that just happens to wander into your shop? Like I said, the start of the book isn't the best. It's a little clunky until you get past all the exposition dumping and the plot actually gets going. I just wanted to mention it because I know that it might bother some people, but I urge you to push past it if you can. The story and the characters are definitely worth it. As a quick aside, I was going through my usual format in my head and mentally scratching out the animation and soundtrack bits when I remembered that listening to the One Republic album Dreaming Out Loud always makes me want to read this book again. I have no idea why, because the album came out after I was already way into the series. The mind is a funny thing. Just thought that was a weird and interesting fact. The book is fairly short. It only took me about 2 hours to read this time around, so if you pick it up you should breeze right through it. And the rest of the books. It's just a really good series, and I think you should check them out if you're at all interested, especially before we enter The spoiler zone! This is your final warning. In the second half, I want to focus on the powers of the children of the Red King, as revealed in this book. The reason for that is that there's some characters that we're introduced to in this book that don't have powers but develop them later in the series, or we're told what their powers are in this book but they develop throughout the series, or it's not even revealed how they work until later books. Okay, but some quick non-powered characters that I just want to mention because they're awesome and I love them. Benjamin, Charlie's best friend and owner of the very cute dog Runnerbean, is just the cutest kid, and he's a little bit tragic. I just want to give him a hug. Fidelio Gunn, Charlie's music tutor and arguably his best friend within the school, is just a fun character, and reading about him, I wanted to be friends with him. And his whole family, really. They're all just great. Lastly, Olivia Vertigo, my favourite character in this whole series. She's just ridiculous and brilliant. She's in the drama section of the school, dyes her hair different colours constantly, wears very impractical shoes, and is just generally hilarious and fun. Okay, powered characters. I'm going to quickly brush aside characters with powers that aren't interesting to me first, the powers that you've seen before in other places. Like Manfred, one of the series' main antagonists and all-around sociopath. He can hypnotise people with his eyes. Boring. Asa, Manfred's henchman, can shapeshift into a beast after dark. He doesn't get interesting until later in the series. A couple of characters can move things with their minds. Bleh. And this kid, Transid, controls the weather. He's basically Storm from the X-Men. That's it. And this is Billy, an albino kid with rapidly shifting allegiances. He can talk to animals. Okay, well the way he actually uses his powers is a bit inventive. He has to talk to an animal for a while before he can understand them, because of all the different animal languages, and it's quite hard to translate that into human, I guess, or vice versa. Right on the border for me are characters like Emilia Moon, or Emma Tolley as it's revealed later in the book. She can fly, which sounds a bit meh, and it isn't revealed how she can fly until later in the series, and that's the bit I find interesting. And Charlie Bone. Yeah, the main freaking character. His power is so useless, and it's actually dangerous to him. When he uses his powers on a picture, it doesn't just show him what the people in it are saying at the time the photo was taken, it shows his face to the people he's viewing. That's so stupid! It actually reveals to characters that are actively trying to do him harm that he's basically spying on them. And he gets overpowered towards the end of the series. Heck, even towards the end of this book, because he can not only read photos, he can read people's faces too. He can basically mind read. What? Anyway, now on to the more unique characters. This is Lysander. He can summon ancestor spirits that wreck everything. He doesn't appear much in this book and doesn't even use his powers until the end, but he's arguably one of the most powerful children. Gabriel Silk, another kid in music with Charlie, can read people's emotions by wearing their clothes. Wait, what? That is so random, and I love it. And you think, oh, that's a super useless power, but it actually becomes really important to a long-running plot in the series. Also, poor Gabriel. He can't wear clothes that aren't new because second-hand clothes can have really bad feelings in them. Even happy clothes he hates wearing because it's not real happiness and it never lasts long. I love it, it's so creative. Okay, and finally onto the thing that I teased in the first half of this video. Peyton. What are his powers? He makes lights brighter. I'm going to repeat that. He makes lights brighter. Who even thinks up a power like that? Jenny Nimmo. Jenny Nimmo is who? And now you must be thinking, okay, that's the most useless power ever. And you'd be wrong, because Peyton is awesome. Because he doesn't just make lights brighter. Oh no, he makes electric lights so bright that they explode. You heard me right. He makes electrical lights explode. That's the reason he only goes out at night when shop lights are off and there aren't as many people around. He even uses his power to lay siege to the villains at the end by blowing up a bunch of lights at the school and setting it on fire with his powers until they give in and do what he wants them to do. Peyton is the best. Well, second best. Olivia just gets better as the series goes on. But then again, so does Peyton. I've changed my mind. Totally tied for favourite character. So yeah, that was Midnight for Charlie Bone. A great and imaginative start to a great and imaginative series of books. Go, pick up the books and see if you enjoy them as much as I do. Oh, and I didn't even mention the cats! And the cats are like the most important thing! Ah! Oh well, I'm a little Lupie, and this has been Not Just for Kids. Angel of mercy, how did you find me? Where did you read my story? Pulled from the papers, desperate and hardened, seeking a momentary fix. All I wanted to say, all I wanted to do is fall apart now. All I wanted to feel, I wanted to love, it's all my fault now. A tragedy I fear, angel of mercy, how did you find me? How did you pick me up again? Angel of mercy, how did you move me? Why am I on my feet again? And I see you, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I feel you, whoa, whoa, whoa.